welcome to my channel. Today I am going to teach you how to make the starburst hexagon cardigan. Here is one that I have made up. This is a child size one. And in today's video I am going to show you how to do the sizing for adult, giving you tips for sizing for adults, and giving you tips for sizing for children, and figuring out how many rows of adding on to your back and your front panel, or just your back. And I am actually going to break this video up into 4 videos so that it's not like an hour long. So when you get done with one part, if you need a refresher, all you have to do is go to that video for that part instead of having to go through everything else. So the 4 parts are going to be, the first part I'm going to teach you how to make a mosaic hexagon, and then the second part is going to be your arm seam, and also adding on to your front and back panel and adding on to your back panel. And then the third video, part is going to be lengthening your cardigan like we have here. So this right here, this part is part of the lengthening part. That is going to be the third video. Along in that video as well, I am going to show you how to do the half double crochet border. And I am going to show you how to do the pockets. And then there is going to be a 4th video where I teach you how to do a traditional mosaic granny square. And I did that video separate because it's just a granny square, a mosaic granny square for the pockets. And in the lengthening video, I'm just going to teach you how to take that granny square and make it into a pocket and teach you how to sew it on. So for today, you are going to need size 4 yarn. You are going to need a solid, and you are going to also need a multicolored if you are trying to make the same type of color blocking pattern that I have made. You are also going to need a size 5mm hook. And you are going to need a 4mm hook, and this 4mm hook is for your cuffs and also for your border. And then you're going to need a tapestry needle, and you're also going to need some scissors and a measuring tape. And the measuring tape is there so that you will know how wide to make your hexagon. So for the adult size, I use 2 carrying cakes and a skein of the Walmart version brand of black yarn. For this child size, I use 2 skeins of Red Heart Retro Stripe, and then 1 skein, actually a skein and a half of the pink Red Heart as well for the kid size. So you will have to kind of decide on, you know, how much yarn you're going to need. But for adults, I did an extra large, and I used 2 full skeins at that of the Karen Big Cakes, which have about 600 yards in it. So before we start, I wanted to just take note too as well that when I refer to a granny cluster, I am talking about your traditional cluster stitch of 3 double crochets all into 1 stitch or space. And then when I am saying a mosaic granny cluster, I am referring to a double crochet and then a front post treble and then another double crochet all into the same stitch or space. And then in the pattern, when I refer to a reverse granny, a mosaic granny cluster stitch, I am referring to placing a double crochet a back post treble, and then another double crochet all into that chain one space or space. So I just wanted to say that now, and then in the description box too, I will also explain that. It just makes it easier for me when I am making the video to kind of abbreviate what I am talking about. And also, there's like some clicking noise in some of the clips in the videos. Don't know where that came from and really can't get rid of it. Have tried all night to do it, but it's not working. So I am sorry in advance that some clips might have like a clicking sound into it. So I hope you guys enjoy the pattern. So I will also have a written copy of this pattern on my blog later on this week, and you will be able to refer back to that if you need help. I will also have in the description box each part of the videos to make this cardigan. And if you guys have any questions at all, just let me know. I am here to help. And once again, you're going to see kind of like two videos into one, because I am going to also give you tips on how to make kids size version and adult size version. So let's get on with part one with making your hexagons. Okay, so let's get started with part one, which is making your Mosaic granny hexagon. So to start off, you are going to want to make a magic loop. And if you don't like making a magic loop, you're more than welcome to do a chain 4 and slip stitch into your first chain. I like the magic loop, so that's what I'm going to do today. And if you need help with making a magic loop, I will link a video in the description box below. So to start off, make a magic loop. And then you're going to want to chain 3, and your chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. So 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to want to place 2 double crochets inside of your loop. 1 and 2. So now we have 2 double crochets in a chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, so 3 double crochets. And then that is your first granny cluster made. So now we need to make 5 more clusters. So what we're going to do is chain 2, 1, 2, and then place 3 double crochets inside of your loop. 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to want to chain 2 again. 1, 2. Need to get more yarn. And then you're going to want to place 3 double crochets inside of that loop again. 1, 2, and 3. And then chain 2, 1, 2, and then place 3 double crochets. And now you want to continue doing this until you have 6 clusters of 3 double crochets and 6 chain 2 spaces. Okay, so I made it to the end, and when you get to the end, you should have a total of 6 double crochet clusters and 6 chain 2 spaces. So let's just count and make for sure we have everything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochet clusters, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have a chain 2 right here, and that makes 6 chain 2 spaces. So to end this round, you are going to want to slip stitch into the top of your beginning chain 3, and then you are going to want to chain 2. And we are going to get started on round 2. So to get started, after your chain 3, you are going to want to place 2 double crochets into this chain 2 space right here. The space right behind your beginning chain 3. So you're going to put 2 double crochets into that space. So 1, 2. So basically what we're doing, we are making half of the corner cluster. And then after your 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, you are going to want to chain 1, and then you are going to want to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1, all into this chain 2 space right here, which is a corner. So all of your corners that you are going to make throughout this pattern are always going to be chain 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1 until your corners. So let's get that done. So place 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 2, and then place 3 more double crochets all into that chain 2 space. And then you're going to want to chain 1. And then we move on to the next corner. You are going to want to put 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, 3, then chain 2, 1, 2, and then 3 more double crochets and then a chain 1. So you are going to want to repeat that around, and before you end, I will meet you back there so I can show you how to finish off this round. Okay, so I am at the end, and I'm going to finish off by placing 3 double crochets inside of that chain 2 space where you place your beginning chain 3 and your 2 double crochets. And then I am going to chain up 2, 1, 2, and I am going to slip stitch into that beginning chain 3 to finish off this round. So you're going to finish off every round and begin every round the same. You're going to begin every round with a chain 3 and then 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, and then you are going to end every round with 3 double crochets in the chain 2 and slip stitch into the beginning chain 3 for every round. So that's always going to stay the same. So now if you are going to be color blocking like me, like you have seen in the photos, you are going to fasten off here with your solid color. And then we are going to attach our multicolored yarn. Okay, so we are going to attach our yarn. I like to attach my yarn like this by making a slip knot, and then I like to attach my yarn into that chain 2 space right after that beginning chain 3, and I like to just insert my hook, put my slip knot around my hook, tighten it on, pull it through, and then chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you are going to want to place 2 double crochets in that chain 2 space, just like how you would start every round. And then you're going to chain 1. Now here is where things change. So in this chain 1 space right here, we are going to start making our Mosaic granny clusters. And by doing that, you're going to put a double crochet inside of that chain 1, and then you are going to front post treble around this middle double crochet from the previous round 3 double crochet granny clusters. So it's this middle one right here, and you are going to make a front post treble around this middle double crochet. To make a front post treble, you are going to yarn over twice, 1, 2, and then you are going to insert your hook behind that second double crochet of the previous round. You are going to yarn over, and you're going to pull up a loop. Then you're going to yarn over again. You're going to pull through 2 loops, yarn over again, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops. And now you're going to want to make this a very loose stitch so that it doesn't start folding your work over. And to end this cluster, you are going to put a double crochet back inside of that chain 1 space that you put your first double crochet in, and then chain 1. Now we are at a corner, and in that chain 2 space you are going to place 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets, and then a chain 1, and now we are at a chain 1 space, and we are going to make a mosaic granny cluster by placing 1 double crochet in that chain 1 space, front post treble around that middle double crochet from the previous round, 3 double crochet clusters, so a basic granny cluster. And then you're going to put a double crochet back into that chain 1 space, and then chain 1, and then we are back at our corner spaces, which you put 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1. So continue that around, and I will meet you at the end to show you how to end this round. Alright, so I am at the end of this round, and to finish it off, I'm going to place 3 double crochets into that chain 2 space, the same space that you place your beginning chain 3 and 2 double crochets. So place 3 double crochets in there, and then chain up 2, and then place, and then slip stitch into your beginning chain 3. So you're always going to end your rounds the same by placing 3 double crochets and then a chain 2, and then slip stitching into your beginning chain 3. Okay, so for the next round you are going to chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to put your 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, and then chain 1, and then here we are at a chain 1 space. So you are going to make a mosaic granny cluster into that space by placing 1 double crochet in there, and then front post treble around that middle double crochet cluster from the previous round right underneath that chain 1 space. Then place a double crochet back into that chain 1 space, and then chain 1, and that is 1 granny cluster made. Now here we are back at another chain 1, so we're going to make a mosaic granny cluster there. We're going to place 1 double crochet inside the chain 1 space, front post treble around the middle double crochet, and then put a double crochet back into that chain 1 space, and then chain 1. Now we are at a corner stitch, so put your corner cluster stitches in there, which are 3 double crochets, a chain 2, 3 double crochets, and then a chain 1. And now we are back at our chain 1s, and you're going to place mosaic granny cluster stitches all inside of your chain 1 spaces, and then in your corner spaces you are going to place your corner cluster stitches, which are 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets, and I will meet you at the end. So do that all the way around. Okay, so now I am at the end, and I am going to place 3 double crochets into that chain 2 space, and then I am going to chain up 2, and I am going to slip stitch into my beginning chain 3 to finish off this round. Let's get it in there. Okay. And then I am going to chain up 2. Now this next round is the round that you're going to repeat over and over and over and over again until you get to your desired size or length you want your hexagon to be. So you're going to chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to place 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space, then chain 1, and then here we are at a chain 1 space, so you're going to place 1 double crochet, 1 front post treble around that middle double crochet from the previous round right underneath that chain 1, and then 1 double crochet into that chain 1 space, then chain 1. 1 mosaic granny cluster made. Now here we are at another chain 1 space, but this time we already have a front post treble made, so it gets easier to know where you put your trebles. So you're going to put 1 double crochet into that chain 1 space. You are going to make a front post treble around the front post treble from the previous round, and then place 1 double crochet back into that chain 1 space and chain 1. And then here we are in another chain 1 space, so we are going to put 1 double crochet, 1 front post treble around that middle double crochet from the previous round, then 1 double crochet back into the chain 1 space, then chain 1. Now we are at a corner, and we are going to put our corner cluster stitches in there, which are 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets, and then a chain 1, and then now we are back to a chain 1 space. So you're going to keep doing this round over and over again until you get to your desired size. So every chain 1 space, you're going to put a mosaic granny cluster into there, and then either you're going to be going around for your front post treble a middle double crochet or a treble that has been made from your previous round, and then you're going to keep doing that over and over again until you get to your desired size. And I will see you at part 2, where I will show you more about sizing and seaming up your arm. Now let's talk about sizing. Today I am making a kid size 6. And the pictures with the black and then the kind of rainbow colored one, that was an adult size extra large. So how I do my sizing, you can do your sizing if you have made the traditional granny square cardigan. Do your sizing however you want. This is how I like to do my sizing because I don't like my sleeves to be extra big. So I do it like this. So I size my cardigans to be the arm width or depth. And I get my sizing from the craftcouncil.com, their sizing charts, so I just use those ones. So you will keep doing your hexagon and you're going to fold it in half. So this is what your hexagon, kind of will look like. And then you fold it into the L-shaped, like this. And then you are going to measure from the middle part to the edge, and you are going to want to measure it to your arm depth or width for the size that you are going to do. So today I am making a child size 6, and the arm depth should be around 5 inches. So this is where I put it right there. And right now I am at about 4.5 inches. So if you are going to color block like how I did and you see in the pictures, you are going to want to stop at about 1/2 inch to 1 inch before you get to your arm depth. And I am going to put the arm depth sizes in the description box below so that you can know just from there. Those are not set in stone. If you have another way of measuring it, you can do it that way, but I just think this is the easiest, especially if you don't have the person in front of you. You can kind of just go by this. So for a size 6 child, I need to be at 5 inches, and then I am going to do the last inch in my solid color. So you do your multicolor until you get to an inch or half an inch before your arm depth, and then you are going to switch to your solid color. So right now I was at like 4.5, so now I'm going to switch to my solid color, and I am going to do 2 rounds in the solid color, and then after that we are going to move on to the next part, which will be seaming the shoulders together and lengthening the sleeve, and that will be in your next video, so part 2 video. So you can go over to that video once you get done doing your 2 rows of your solid and making your hexagon to whatever size you want. So just make for sure that you measure and stop an inch to 1.5 inches before the desired size that you're making, and then you do 2 rows, which ends up equaling out 1 inch. So if you end up doing like and stopping 1.5 inches, your size is just going to be a half an inch bigger, which it really doesn't make a big difference. And you are going to do 2 rows into your solid color, and what that does is we're just starting the blocking of the color. So here's one already made, and right here I stopped the color blocking at 4 inches, and then I did 2 rows of pink, so you kind of can really see it here at the bottom. So I stopped color blocking right here, and that equaled around 4.5 inches, and then I did 2 rows of my solid color, which was pink this time, and then you will get the same kind of look that you see in the pictures. So I will see you at part 2 when you have your hexagon finished, and then we will start working on the sleeves in part 2. Bye!